Welcome to the Selectmen's meeting for the town of Acton, Maine for January 15th, 2019. The first item is going to be salute the flag. Tonight I've asked Private Dobson. He's a longtime Acton resident. Just graduated from Parris Island, U.S. Marine Corps, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Private Dobson. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
For your service.
Thanks for your service.
No problem. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye, Benny.
Bye, Benny. If anyone knows of any Acton resident that is graduated or is graduating from any of the military branches, this is something we want to try to keep going. When they graduate, have them come in here, get a quick introduction, a thank you, and lead us in the pledge. So there's one other gentleman that's in the Navy. He's already graduated. He's gone out to wherever he's going to be right now. Probably be back in a few months, and so he may be the next one. But if anybody knows anyone, let us know. So, approval of the agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
And I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? No? Go for a vote. All in favor? All opposed? Minutes of the last meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor? All opposed? Department heads and committee chair updates.
So tonight is the start of our rotation that you guys asked for. We sent out memos to all of the departments and committees. If you haven't gotten yours yet, check your mail and check your box out here. They have gone out, so you're going to see that each department and committee essentially shows up before the board about every 3 months. And I think that per your request, it was about a 10-minute update of kind of what was going on.
Yep, sounds good. And I guess we have CEO and land use first? Sound right? Ken?
Good evening.
Evening.
So I've got about an hour and a half's worth of stuff, but you only want 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, make it 5 too if you want.
All right. So last year was the first year we've used all our growth permits. That probably hasn't happened for 8 or 10 years at least. So that's just going to show you the spike of increases that we've had. We were running about 25, 30 phone calls and emails separately, so around 50, 55 means of communications every day. Those have probably been cut in half, but that's only a short time recess. That's going to pick back up, I would think, as soon as the spring flies. Planning board wise, during the review part, we had just completed a 7-lot subdivision, a property maintenance business, and a 56-lot campground. So the new one's coming in now is a 22-lot subdivision, another property maintenance facility, and it looks like a 110-lot campground.
Wow.
So those are going to continue. And we've always looked at the past at what takes a lot of our time so the users of our service pays for it. And in the past, we've talked multiple times over, is this a user fee-based thing, or does the whole town benefit from it? We had set aside in our budget process between the Selectmen and Warrant Finance, projected revenues were going to be 60, 65,000. We've passed 80,000 already, and we're only halfway through the years. That's showing you the amount of volume of work coming in. That's going to need inspections coming out. Things are changing constantly. We're just trying to evolve with them. One of the bigger changes we saw was just Eastern Propane coming into town and taking over. So every work they do, they want inspections for it. They're pulling a permit every week or two, but then that one permit usually will require a half a dozen inspections. It'll be the tank in the ground, the underground going to the house, and then in the house they'll have a fireplace, a boiler, inside stuff and outside stuff. So it's just maintaining service and fees, so we're offset by most of our revenue from it. One of the big areas we've noticed that we spend a tremendous amount of time is doing research. Somebody will come in and they're looking at buying a house, or they've got a purchase and sales on a house, and especially waterfront house, and we'll notice over the past 20 or 30 years. They haven't pulled any permits, but all this work is done, and we'll spend 8, 9, 10 hours on it easily to resolve this and try to come up with an avenue so everything's all set and we can move forward out there. So I've looked at the fee schedules again, and I think that's one area I'd suggest we take a look at. I highlighted the ones in yellow, which would be and the fees are adjusted by the selectmen at one of your meetings. One of them would be research. I'd be okay with the first hour or something like that, and then we can assess a fee for the time we spend after that. The other area is when a project goes through subdivision review or conditional use, there's multiple inspections out there, but a conditional use is $200, and I can spend, one of the projects we just did, I've probably been out there 30 times to maintain. It was a fairly large project, and the fees are fairly low at the beginning. So that would be the other one in yellow. That would be the inspection of subdivision, site plan, and conditional uses. And just a % of the project we would look at with that. One of the other areas up in blue on the top left is cost of construction. The fee-based is $4 per thousand. I can't find anybody that low. The closest I can come is $5. The Seacoast, they were all $10, $11, $12 a thousand. So that would be another area maybe to add just another $1 per thousand into that. The one in pink, I've got to talk, those are planning board fees. I'll talk to my planning board tomorrow. A lot of towns charge for the initial review of a plan, the sketch plan, the preliminary, and then the final app, because they change multiple times. And usually, initially, I'm sitting down for a couple, 3 hours with them at the beginning of the process, and then as the plan develops, again, we'll sit down multiple times with them to get it so when they go to the planning board, everything's in order, and hopefully we can go for approval as quick as they can, versus the planning board just seeing it for the first time and we review it through that process there. So that would be one of the things I'd look at possibly getting together with you guys and seeing if that's something you support, or the whole town benefits from it and the whole town can pick up the additional fees.
So we don't have anything right now for research?
No. And we call it old and for sale, and we can only do one at a time. I've got 3 backed up downstairs where, similar to an email, if we get an email and we don't respond that day, the second day, if not the third, we get another email with a different tone to it. Why didn't you respond? And we'll try to respond as quick as we can, but and when you reply to an email, that's not the end of it. You get a reply for the reply, and it just doesn't stop. A lot of times, we'll just try to pick the phone up, call them, and set it at that. But now you don't have a paper trail of the conversation we just had. So, I mean, it is nice to get it through that way there with them. I didn't get a total count on what we have for notices of violation open, but they come in quicker than we can close them up is our biggest problem. And it's in the 40s, I'd say, on that. One of the other things we're trying to implement is when we're doing inspections, we're trying to get the tablet that we have so we can go down through a checklist, and if there are issues, check them off. And when we're all said and done, click done, and at that point an email would go out to the contractor, the homeowner, the sub, whoever it is. They would all get an email at that time. Currently what we do is we either tag the foundation or leave them a list. So, and we get a lot of complaints that I'm a contractor, I'm an hour and a half away, I've got to drive up and take a look at it. Yeah, you know, because everybody wants us to call them back when we're done with the inspection, and quite often it's 4:30, 5 o'clock when we're done, and we don't have time to come back and call everyone. The site has always been it. So hopefully the implementation of that tablet, that just takes design to get it up and running and get all the data put in there and stuff like that. We're trying to see what a few of the bigger cities are doing, and they're more archaic than the smaller towns because it's bigger to implement, it's more cost, and we all hate change anyways, so. A couple of the court cases we've wrapped up was McPherson and Bottomley, both of them we've won. McPherson is being challenged through the law court. That was a $5,000 penalty plus court fees the town was awarded. The other one was Bottomley. That one has not been appealed yet, and that was a $10,000 penalty awarded to the town of Acton in both of those. And again, we tried mitigating those out as much as we could before we got there. We didn't want to go that route, but that's just an avenue we were pushed into. One of the other thoughts I'm hoping the board would maybe consider in the budgeting process this year is revamping the parking lot out there and hopefully allowing some excavation work, scrape the loam off, fill in the dirt behind the gym area there, allow us to come in on the other side of it, and hopefully maybe, and this is a plan we looked at a couple of years ago, block off between the gym and the library and bring those parking spaces all the way across the library through that, similar to where the patios now, extend that over into it. And when you get up towards the gym, just fill it with crushed stone or something like that, because I don't think that building will take any additional loads to it or something. One of the big concerns we have is if somebody pulls in and they go to back out there, that pole's been hit three times and it's still standing. I don't know how, but even the plow guys get it once in a while. Either that, or when people come in and one person parks parallel with the pole, then 2 or 3 people park there, and then we can't get in or out either. I can get in and out. I'm just concerned that somebody's come in, maybe it's contracted with a box truck or an older person, and they go to back up until they, sounds expensive. And so. How's that for 10 minutes? 5 minutes?
Good.
It's great.
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we flip the timer? Do you have
Yeah,
more?
yeah, flip it, the egg time is over.
Is there any septic system out there to worry about? Isn't there a
The pipes
leach
come
field?
out, but the tank is under where the last car parks where they've plowed. But the field, I believe,
Okay.
they put down lower down
Further
in
down.
there.
Okay.
So I know they had to cut the pavement to get at the tank a couple, 3 years ago, so that meant it hadn't been pumped for 30
Ever.
years or so.
Yeah.
So, but that would just help the design flow of the area, and if something happened to the gym in the future, it's not a big deal to rescape or whatever, or something like that, so.
Right.
Definitely something to consider.
Yeah, yeah. The fee schedule, I can grab you some more information if it's something, once you take a look at it, just get back to the town administrator and she can get back with us and see if you're looking. We researched a bunch of towns. Most of them don't put it on their websites. You have to call and gather it from them, but the Seacoast, we're a third of what the Seacoast charges for a lot of stuff. And again, my theory's always been, we probably want to be about 80% of our budget being covered through fees, because that leaves 20% for enforcing zoning issues. That way there, the guy building the house isn't paying for us chasing other issues. Because at the end of the day with the zoning, we just want compliance, you know? And if we can get it with a phone call, the first letter, then that's lucky. So usually takes a couple of extra. And now, once we've started with the letters and stuff, now it's going through you guys usually,
Right.
so.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Enjoy your meeting.
Yep,
Thank
have a
you.
good night.
Have a good night, Ken. Thanks.
Town clerk, tax collector, and registrar of voters.
May I do it from here, or do you want me to go over there?
You're fine now.
So the information that I'm presenting tonight is just on behalf of the town clerk, tax collector, and registrar of voters. You guys all know that I wear 2 hats. So this doesn't have anything to do with the town administrator work. This is the work primarily that Sarah and I do within that scope. So similar to code enforcement, our numbers are up quite a bit as well. We ran some numbers for the last 6 months to kind of give a synopsis. For excise tax, for example, for boat and vehicle registrations, we have estimated $460,000 is what we're looking to collect for the fiscal year. 6 months in, we're already at over $300,000. So I know one of the conversations we had when we talked about budgeting is that we look at 3-year cycles, and we're definitely going to be able to increase those numbers this budget season. And what that will do is help offset taxes, because we need a X amount to come in, and we have far exceeded that over the last few years. So that looks like that's going to happen yet again. In the last 6 months, we've registered about 1,500 vehicles in the office. We have agent fees that add up to over $6,000. To the Secretary of State's office, we have sent out about $170,000. That's a combination of title applications and sales tax. And to inland fisheries, we've sent out close to $50,000 in just the 6 months. And you think about, that's almost to the end of the summer, July 1st, because May is really our biggest month through December 31st. We are actually one of the top 5 selling agents in the entire state of Maine for inland fisheries. We have so much activity, being so close to the border and having all these lakes. So we've been recognized by inland fisheries more than once being one of their top sellers and improving our accounts the way that we do. So we are proud of that. In regards to dogs, another aspect that we cover, Acton has 550 licensed dogs in town. So we are always literally chasing them in some way or another. The tax collector, in the last 6 months alone, we have collected $3.7 million in taxes. That's a variety of 3 different years. We have sent out hundreds of 30-day certified letters. We have researched hours at the registry, getting next of kin or lien holders. So we've handled that piece of it. Our office also handles all vital records. We do all the birth, the death, and the marriages. Everything's all electronic now through a system called DAVE with the state of Maine. So everything is electronic for that aspect of it. We also cover the registrations and voting in town. Acton has 2,120 voters, 760 which are unenrolled. You have 536 Democrats, 701 Republicans, and 122 Green Independents. If you didn't see the news lately, you may learn that the Libertarian Party, which tried forming recently, has been disqualified by the Secretary of State's office. So if by chance you joined that recently, you're going to go to what they call unenrolled, because the party essentially didn't get enough people qualified in order to create the party. So at our last election, we had 1,237 people participate, which works out to about 58% of your Acton voters. So we're always trying to get that number up as much as we can. We handle all of the business licenses in town. We have a business directory on the town's website that has over 40 businesses that are required to register with the clerk's office. So we keep that list maintained. And pretty much, I think in a nutshell, that's what that piece of it does. I mean, certainly like all of the departments, there's 101 things behind the scenes, but I'm not going to bore you with all those little details of every call we make and research and those types of things, but that's kind of what's going on in our office. As far as budgets, we're not looking for any increases in anything. We will, short of the staff increases as the board moves forward. Our lines are all kind of where they need to be. The other thing I just want to mention real quick is our Neighbors Helping Neighbors account. We currently have a balance of $5,684 in there. $5,684. That is, starting in July, we had $34.63. The end of December, we had $71.37. So we are right at $56.84. That big payout, if you're subtracting in your head the $71.37 to where we're at now, is primarily from payouts to the last fire victim. People would come in and want to make a donation directly for that individual. We would run it through our receipt process for checks and balances, and then we just recently cut her a check, actually in this week's warrant, to give her that money that was collected. So that's why the amount has separated, but that's pretty much where we're at.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. Do we have any other department heads, committee chairs who wish to speak tonight?
If I can just say one quick thing, I had put together code enforcement, land use, and zoning board as one group, and I think you're going to see that on the next time around. Because they're in the middle of hearing a case, and because the town is part of the party, I did not have Ken speak on any of that because he's really not affiliated with it. So we're really not going to get a ZBA update until the next time around.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
You guys miss me yet? Hi, Lois Mishu, actually Chair of Cemetery Committee. We changed our meeting to this Thursday at 5:30 because normally we meet the last Thursday of every month, only because of budgeting. We want to make sure that everything's in so everybody can come and listen to what we have to say if anybody's interested. Hopefully Kim will be there, God willing. But I just wanted to let you know we are having them, but we had to change a little bit.
So it's this Thursday?
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, on to old business, bridge proposals.
As I understand it from the board, that's going to be tabled until the road committee has their meeting tomorrow night and we get their recommendation.
Sounds good. Okay. Conduct for elected and appointed officials.
This was the policy that the attorney drafted up for you to review.
Yep.
I don't know if you want another week on it, or if you had thoughts or ideas.
Yeah, I just need one more week on it.
I did skim through it, but I'm wondering, I mean, it's great to have it in place, and you'd hope that people would abide by it, but what are the consequences if, I mean, they're still elected?
Right.
There's no pink slip, there's no written warning.
I mean, you know, the consequence, I mean, can always be, I mean, if the board accepts a policy and it's got these types of guidelines, I mean, you have a recall ordinance in place as well, so that may give the voters, you know, more of something to go on, if you will, that, you know, if they say this, you know, John Doe, you know, didn't follow this conduct policy, and, you know, I mean, that's
Okay,
really,
so there- okay.
other than a recall, there's really no,
Right.
it's just kind of
And
standards
by having
pointing
it in
out.
place, I mean, it
Well,
puts puts you on notice.
Well, right,
Right,
well,
I mean,
of
yeah,
what the
when you
town
take this
expects.
Follow,
position,
so-
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yep, I just want to read it over some more, and, so,
yeah,
yep.
okay.
Great. New business. Action plan, Maine Municipal Association.
So every year, Maine Municipal comes out to the town and they visit a building or two. And every year, those buildings change. And basically, they go through the buildings, they go room by room in every building, and they make lists of concerns that they have as our insurance provider. Last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, they met with myself, the fire chief, and the superintendent of the transfer station. And those were the two spots that they were going to do this year. And they've gone through and listed out their concerns. Some of them are minor signage that we need to put up. Some of their other concerns, maybe like some fencing at the transfer station by the hopper, might be a little more detailed. But this has come in. I'm going to sit down with both of the gentlemen next day or two, review it, and we'll start working on it.
Great.
Thank you.
I mean, from the last time we had this done, which was 2 or 3 years ago.
They did this building.
Yep, that was quite involved, and we had a number of things that needed, this list we got this time is substantially less than what we had in the past, so. Okay, public comment. Anyone from the public?
Lois Mishu, I'm a taxpayer this time, guys. I was on my way here, and I happened to notice this sand shed open again. I don't know what what we decided the sand shed could gather, or how many buckets or whatever we can get. There's not a lot of sand there, but there are 2 or 3 people that were waiting to get in line.
You mean the little
The
building out
little
by the
building
road?
out front, yep.
That's open 24/7?
That's open, whatever, yep.
Yep.
And I don't know if we were limited on buckets, or what we could get, or what we can't get. I don't know. I just happened to see that some gentleman had a trailer there, and he was just loading away. And I just want, you know, I just don't know if we had a limit on that anymore. Or, I know at one time it used to be a bucket or 2 per taxpayer. I don't know
Actual
if.
limit on
I'm
it.
aware of.
I feel like there was did I see a policy somewhere that
I
it's two
thought there was a bucket or 2.
5-gallon buckets?
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was out
I'd
there a
have
few years
to,
ago.
we'll have to have
Have to look back
Bob.
and see, yeah.
I can double check. I mean, and then we run into the enforcing piece. I mean, we're not, you know,
Right.
Right.
But I just
Just
wanted
ask
to I
people
just
to-
wanted to recheck with you guys. I know that it's hard because everybody's trying to gather up what they can and do what they have. But you gotta remember too that they're not the only taxpayer in town. That we've only had 2 openings. We can only go to the transfer station when it's open. And we only have this one that isn't really supervised, isn't watched, it is what it is. But I didn't know if we still had the 2, because last time I wanna say it was a 2-bucket policy per tax.
we'll double check, and I'll check with the road guys. Maybe we can put some sort of signage or something up there.
Yeah,
but
it just-
they've
just out
done
of
well to keep it
courtesy.
filled,
Yeah.
so.
More than
we'll
anything,
double check.
because I get it, because I have to gather for myself, and I have to gather for my mom and stuff like that. I get that, you know, you want to get for who you can and help who you can, but where's there for everybody else too, so, all right.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on public comment? Nope,
I have a public comment.
go right ahead.
Happy birthday.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Is it your birthday?
It's your birthday.
Thursday,
Yeah, a
is
couple
what I
more
heard.
days, Thursday, yeah. Yeah, Lois ought to remember it. It is actually Lois's birthday the same day.
Oh, it is?
Oh, there we go.
I have one other thing. Dave Langley called me before the meeting. He wasn't able to attend because of a water break, I'm going to say, in Sanford. So the town does have a policy in place about pushing snow across the roads and about parking on the roads, you know, in bad weather. He just wants everybody to know kind of more on the West Shore Drive area that he certainly wants to give you some leeway in regards to ice fishing, because it's a popular area down there, but he's asking that we can try to keep it as single file as possible so that they can get through. And obviously during the storms, that leeway is going to go away. They need to be plowing, so please make good choices if you're fishing down in that area.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, and the only other announcement we have?
Okay, the Town of Acton Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Monday, January 21st at 7 to discuss the following warrant article. To see if the Town of Acton shall vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to appoint one road commissioner / Public Works Director for a term of 1 year, effective as of the 2019-2020 fiscal year. The public is invited to attend. It'll be here at the Town Hall.
Great.
And B, we can add is the special town meeting that you're going to have. I should put that on there, which will be Wednesday, February 6th, correct? Also at
7.
7 PM.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, we have an idea, because I think that Warren and Finance asked, are you going to wait until after the public hearing? I guess we need to kind of think about the warrant article itself and monies. We had had some different amounts in that slideshow.
Right.
As far as, you know, depending on what you guys decide to pay said individual. If you want to wait, I mean, we can draft the question to take X amount out of undesignated funds and wait until after the public hearing to put a number in there.
I would think.
Just
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense to have the
Yep.
public hearing
to see
first.
what.
Yeah.
Yep.
And see what warrant finance
And-
comes up with as well.
I think I had just one person that came to me and made some suggestions about some things to add to the presentation. So again, anybody that was there and wants input,
Good.
we will certainly take it.
Sounds great. Okay. Do you have anything else?
No?
Anything,
I'm good.
anything else?
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Good night, all.